Welcome forward here. Today's adventure is the Intenders Handbook, the Intenders of the Highest Good, a guide to intention process, the conscious community brought to you by Tony Burrows. This is the Highest Lighthouse publication there. This is the 7th printing from March 2010. There are many different ways to raise your level of consciousness. Consciousness is awareness, and as we become more aware of the habitual words and word patterns that we and those around us are using, we can make great changes in our lives. By eliminating certain words that are no longer serving us from our daily expression, we cause new possibilities to open up before us. Our whole life brightens. The intenders of the highest good understand that the exactness of our words count. We know beyond all doubt that the words we are using are constantly determining the kind of expressions we will have and the experiences we have. By the same token, we have become more aware of when we are projecting an experience out onto our world than we really, in our hearts, don't desire to see manifest. I'm going to read that again. By the same token, we have become more aware of when we are projecting an experience out into our world that we really, in our hearts, do not desire to see manifest. People do this unconsciously in their everyday conversation quite often. We call it negative projection or self-sabotage, and we gently point it out to each other when it happens in the intender circle. Much of the time, these self-sabotaging words and phrases are added onto what we just said, like an afterthought, for example. You'll frequently hear someone say, quote, "I intend that the repairs go easily and effortlessly without too many problems," end quote. By adding these last 4 words, they've suddenly undermined their original intention. They've sabotaged their own future by bringing problems into the picture. When we intenders catch ourselves projecting an undesired experience like this, we immediately remind ourselves of one of the main reference points in the intention process, that our thoughts and our words are constantly creating our world. The old saying, quote unquote, "as you believe, so shall you be for you," end quote, is a great truth. Since our words are exact reflections of what we believe, it is prudent for us to be much more careful with the words we are using. It's simply not in our highest and best interest to continue to be frivolous with our words. These words have power. They can either limit our experience or enhance it. Here are several self-sabotaging phrases that we've heard recently. You can make your own list too, just by listening closer to what you and other people around you are saying. "There's never a place to park when I need one." "Why is everything always so difficult for me?" "Some things never change." "There's no possible way that this is going to work out." "It's too late." I just can't lose any weight." Uh-oh, the list goes on. "It's going to be too expensive. We'll never be able to afford it." "So and so is incapable of changing. They're a lost cause." "It doesn't look very promising." "Well, easier said than done." "Well, I'll be beeped." It's going to be a bad allergy season this year. I'm afraid there's not going to be a good harvest this year. The weather is getting worse. I'm just really sensitive to those things. There's nothing we can do about it. What a struggle this is. What a pain in the neck this is. I'm sick and tired of all this. And the doctor says it won't go away. We discovered a great way to stop the old habits of constantly saying unempowered words. Whenever anyone of our fellow intenders caught using quote-unquote trying or hoping or some self-sabotaging phrase, we would have to give them a cookie. Not a store-bought cookie, but a homemade one that we really baked ourselves. Two things happened right away. We became better bakers, and we all had sorts of experiences that had been eluding us coming into manifestation. When we first started the Intenders, it was common to hear someone putting their sick friend or family into the circle. We would talk about someone's disease and then intend that it was healed. The practice went on for quite a while, but we didn't seem to be getting the results we desired from it. So, one evening we decided to ask our guides and helpers about this. The answer we received was very profound. We were told that when we give a name to somebody's sickness, that we are giving power unto it. We were reminded that our words have power, and that when we speak the name of any diseases, whether we think it's our own or someone else's, we are actually reinforcing or feeding the disease. This does not help us if our highest priority is to preserve and perpetuate our lives. We were also reminded that our thoughts are things, and that we are all transmitters and receivers of thought on a level which is normally invisible to us. These thoughts fly through space, just like a radio or TV waves, and they are all received by the person we are thinking about. When we send out a thought, these pictures, someone else in it, this thought is received and it tends to manifest. We are constantly making suggestions with our thoughts to others of how we would like them to be. So when we envision others as suffering in any way, we are contributing to their suffering. Conversely, when we see them in their highest light, happy and full of vitality, this is the message they receive, and that is the message that they will help them the most. No one is well served by another who, either consciously or unconsciously, talks about disease. The best thing that you can do for anyone is to hold the light for them, see them in their perfect state of wellness. Regardless of what they tell you about their maladies, you do them no favor by agreeing with them about their illnesses. When they are temporarily unable to hold the light for themselves, you can hold it for them. You can help them by holding a vision in your mind of them in their highest light. And in this way, you are not reinforcing their sickness and suffering. You are reinforcing their wellness. So now, in our Intender circles, we refrain from naming sicknesses and diseases, and therefore, we give no power to them. We see everyone at all times in their highest light. The following quote is from Tony Burrows. Not too long ago, there was a scare that ran through the people of the big island of Hawaii. A group of businessmen from the mainland had decided that, in order to maintain their profits, it would be necessary to irradiate all the papayas that were going to be shipped off the island. The local government officials voted to support this endeavor and agreed to allow some of the nuclear material to be brought to the island. It must be said that Hawaii is one of the most isolated places on earth, and it is cleansed constantly by the gentle trade winds and the waves that come across the sea of the Pacific Ocean. In the past, there had never been any overriding need for radioactive products to be on the island, and a great many people did not see any reason to put an entire population and environment at risk now, just so a few mainland businessmen and large tract papaya growers could make some more money for themselves. It appeared that these business people were trying to take advantage of the spirit of aloha that is still vital of the way of Hawaii in many ways. The public outcry was loud and strong. Groups hurriedly gathered together and petitions were circulated everywhere. Thousands of people spoke out on the name of the aloha spirit to preserve one of the cleanest environments on the earth. All over the island, posters in the storefronts and bumper stickers on the car and the trucks proclaimed, "I love a radiation-free Hawaii." For several weeks, this was the main topic of discussion at our Hilo and Tinder circle. We even asked our guides and guidance about it at the end of one of our meetings, and the answer we got was quite surprising. We were told that we might want to consider rewording the posters and bumper stickers because they weren't saying exactly what we desired them to say. Our guide said that in order for it to be possible for us to manifest a radiation-free Hawaii, we would have to envision a radiated Hawaii first. And they told us that we were subtly sabotaging ourselves when we used the word free in this way. For instance, they said that whatever we intended, that we are stress-free or debt-free or radiation-free, we had to have first created the stress, debt, or radiation in our minds. Wouldn't it be better to bypass this step by going straight to envisioning the outcome we desire from the beginning? They said that it was very important to pay close attention to the way we phrase our words, and in this case, the best thing that we could do for Hawaii is to always see it in its highest light. Needless to say, we followed our guidelines' advice. Then that night, by expressing our gratitudes for the lovely island home, and by intending that Hawaii is forever pristine and beautiful and the healthy possible environment to raise our children and live in the spirit of aloha. End of quote. I'm Tony Burrows.